Yeah, so check this out, folks. I just want to say something. I was watching the news this morning, the local news in Guilford County, North Carolina. So, and I'm sitting here, and it's amazing to me how I'm seeing the commissioners and continue to walk around and tour these schools, assessing the damages that are done to these schools, most of them 50 plus years old. And I'm saying to myself, you got the money from the government, you got all the funding. When are they going to start doing some work on these schools? When are we going to start hearing them doing some actual work on the schools? The kick in the can. You've been you've been walking around the schools. Every time they walk around the school, it's been put on the news. You know, and it's like, how long are you gonna keep walking around the schools? You guys already look bad enough. You've been looking bad. Okay. And it's a crying shame because a lot of these folks that sit on the board, Guilford County board, the commissioner, these people been living here for years. Okay, some of them born and raised here. Okay, and these schools have been in dire need for years, and they all known about it and didn't do anything. The commissioner earlier last year, middle of last year, 2021, Skip Austin confessed, owned up to it, and said, yeah, we dropped the ball on our public school systems here in Guilford County. We dropped the ball. That was what Skip Austin said in the middle of 2021. Okay? He admitted to it that they dropped the ball. They failed the public schools in Guilford County. So we heard him confess to that, but Guilford County Schools never confessed to how they know that they dropped the ball. They know that they dropped the ball. But see, it's funny how you got men in suits walking around schools assessing damage and work for repairs. But they ain't got no hard hats. You in suits. Where's the men with the hard hats? Where's the men that's going to do the work? Where you going to get them in there? Walking around the school where the work order's been put into the school board. They've been knowing about that work that need to be done. So walking around the school ain't going to help you. That ain't going to do nothing. Again, enough with the photo ops and all of that and video trying to act like. That's the problem. You guys been acting for the longest. The gig is up. There's no more acting. You got to go act like you're working. That's what the people need to see. That's what the children. That's what they should be seeing. Some work being done. Okay. The school year is about to be up. So the ending of last year, ending of 2021, you guys started wanting to walk around the schools. Between November, December 2021, you guys wanted to walk around the schools. Okay? So you still walking around the schools looking at the damage. Looking at it ain't going to fix it. You got to fix it. Looking at it ain't going to get it done. So when is some work going to get done? It's bad enough that the state of North Carolina is failing the kids and they've been failing them for years by violating the constitutional right of a sound and basic education for the public school systems here in the state, violating them. Not giving the adequate resources. So everybody runs around and they talk about, oh, this school district is better or this school. It don't matter. It don't matter because every student their constitutional right has been violated in this state. So it don't matter if you think that your child is going to this certain school and it may be, no, it's not. Okay? No, it's not. All right? And you can look it up yourself, the Leandro case. And, it's a shame. And that's been going on. The Leandro case has been in effect since 1994. And the state's been constantly fighting it. If you go back into my archives, I've talked about it. Okay? But so the students are being failed in railroad there, been failed in railroad. So you got not only your students today, you got generations of students that have been failed in this state, okay? Like I said, the Leandro case started out in 94, but we got to go way back before that, okay? It don't matter race, creed, or whatever. It don't matter. Every student has been failed in this state, especially in the rural counties, because that's where the Leandro case kicked off from the rural counties, putting things in motion, and being slighted on things. So they took it to the courts, okay? And so then we go here, and then you have counties around this state that are receiving funds like Guilford County, and you still playing games with these students, kicking the can. You got Sharon Contreras is gonna be out of there this year. She's out of there in June, okay? This June 2022, she's out of there. So she's not gonna really do nothing. She wasn't doing anything anyway, okay? Kind of glad she's gone. Wondering and looking to see that they pick someone better this time for a superintendent of schools in this county, okay? You got 120 plus schools in Guilford County, and I'm trying to see public schools, and I'm trying to see when we're gonna hear about some work being done, because I haven't heard that yet. I keep seeing you guys walking around schools. And not even the schools you walked around, I have and assessed, I still haven't heard if you did any work to them. So again, like all of this photo op and doing it for the TV, you're just looking stupid at this point, and been looking stupid, and it's shameful. It's time to get to work. When it's time to do work, I see people ain't doing the work. You really see it now, because see, like I've been said before, when COVID pulled the sheet back off a lot of things, and you see who really now, when it's time to do work, you see who really been doing work. Really been doing work. See, now it's like roaches when the lights come on. The lights are on now. The microscope is out and it's on. And you don't see no work being done. You see him still kicking the can. I like to say, and I've said this before, when people have negative behaviors, they don't plan, and their actions, they don't plan to do anything. They just there for the look. When people take over a job, if their behavior is to just shun the people, if their behavior is to sit on their hands, that's what's going to happen. These people, you see in their actions, you see and you listen to them, there's no urgency in their conversation. There's no urgency in their talk. If you ever heard them in the meeting, if you ever read an article about them, there's no urgency in anything. They talk at the problems, and they're in the position to fix it, to get it done, and they don't get it done. They don't communicate properly to the people. They want to act like the people are beneath them when the people are above them, because the people are the one that put you in these spots, in these places, and in these chairs, and for you to be able to feed your family, and for you to drive around and live in nice homes, and drive nice cars, and live a pretty comfortable life, even through the pandemic. You see, you got parents that had to worry about through the pandemic how they were going to continue to go to work and provide for their families. And then at the same time, they got to worry about the school system being jacked up with the transportation. Or your child may have not had heat in their classroom or air in their classroom when cool air when it was hot, in the warm months. So you got to worry about these things. You got to worry about your child not being done right in the schools. But then they like to go to the schools that may be performing a little better. And they like to do photo ops and show that these schools, no. Your schools are in trouble. They've been in trouble. They're in trouble. Okay? The leadership sucks all around the board. Literally. Okay? The state has failed the children. Everything has failed these children. The constitutional rights have been failed. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that playing a part in this. And I feel like when it comes to the constitutional rights, I feel like a lot of these counties in the state of North Carolina, they know about the Leandro case. So it's like the big brother, like I spoke before, and I'm gonna go back on it real briefly. When you these counties around this state of North Carolina, there's 100 counties. These counties, they know of the Leandro case. They know about the students' constitutional rights being violated and not having a sound and basic education. They know that the state has violated that. So what happens is they say, hey, if the people ain't complaining about that, why would they complain? And how they gonna complain about what the county's not doing? Hey, the state ain't doing it. And that's what I feel. Once I did my research and did my digging, that's what I feel is what happens. It's the kick in the can effect. It's like, hey, if they ain't doing it, we ain't going to do it neither. We'll just keep talking about it, but we ain't going to do it. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people going around doing this, these photo ops and just walking around portraying like they're doing something. You can't have men in suits going to a work zone and acting like they're trying to do something. No. You need to have men in hard hats and work gear with hammers and tools behind you or in front of you, showing, and while they're working, showing like, hey, this is what we're doing. You walking around, that's not getting the work done. You looking at it ain't getting the work done. Guilford County Schools, the commissioners, the Guilford County Schools, you've been looking and talking enough. Y'all been looking at it and talking enough. Yeah, and ain't doing no work. You're sitting around talking and ain't doing no work. The ball has been in y'all court for y'all to do some work, and y'all have yet to show y'all doing any work when it comes to that maintenance for these schools. Why? It's no reason now that you getting all of these millions of dollars. I can't even count to you right now how many millions of dollars they've got in their hand for the school system. The state alone has received millions. The country has received millions from the government during COVID for education. But meanwhile, you have these school systems around the country that are putting the money. Some of them are spending it frivolously. And I've spoken about it before. Spending it on things that has nothing to do with the education. Nothing to do. But meanwhile, you always heard, and you always will hear school districts around the country complain about how they don't have the adequate funds to do this and that. But you're hearing schools spend this money frivolously on nonsense. And some just sitting on their hands like Guilford County in North Carolina, not knowing what the freak to do and not even moving on it. Steady making excuses, and now you got the money and steady making excuses. Steady playing the part. Playing the part. Not being a part. Playing the part. They're playing games. They're not actually in the game. And everybody's in it for their own game. And you see it. You see it. And I just sit back and shake my head. Because when you are a person that observes people's actions and motions and people's ways, I just sit back and watch what these folks do. Anytime you get people in positions and they sit there and they act like the people work for them, we got a problem, folks. Not when you're in public service. Not when you're supposed to be a public servant. The people don't work for you. That go for the county commissioners. That go for the school board. That goes for the superintendent of schools. The people don't work for you. The people can work with you, but the people don't work for you. You work for the people. And until the people around this country and around this country, period, everybody, not just in Guilford County, North Carolina, everybody get to the understand that these people in your local government, they're there because of you. It's not good as just a few or a handful of us know this. We all have to be on that same accord to get these folks out of our hair, because that's what it is. They're in our hair. They're getting on our nerve because they're not doing the job that they were appointed to do. We got to get these people out of here, and we got to vet them, and we got to be on them the same way that we be on when it's time for the presidency. See, that's what happens. Everyone looks over the mountain to that, to the presidential races, and everybody tunes in to the presidential debates. We don't tune in enough and hold the local government accountable for their actions and for what they need to do. You know, we don't hold them accountable enough, because if we did, a lot of cities and states around this country will see a whole lot different. It doesn't help when it's just a handful of people in a certain county or a city. You need all people to understand this. All people to understand this. Because I'm going to say this in closing. The Leandro case for North Carolina, the 15th Amendment that's been violated, that the state has violated the students on a basic and sound education. The state of North Carolina, that's their 15th Amendment, that's in their Constitution. They have violated it. Okay? It's been in court since 94, been through 3 judges. Okay, if all the people would be knowing this, and if all people would have been listening to me, if they know nothing else, if all people been listening and tapping in, you would know and learn about that, and this would not still be going on. Okay, but meanwhile, so when I hear people arguing about everything else besides education, when it comes to education, and they're arguing about a baseball field or something being built over a softball field, when I hear, oh, my child can't play this sport this year, when I hear that, I'm shaking my head and I'm laughing at you, because I'm like, your child has been violated, their constitutional right has been violated for a sound and basic education, and here we are arguing about nonsense. And then we have, so there's 2 fights going on. You have a fight going on in this state with your child's constitutional right being violated by the state. Then you have another fight with some of these counties, such as Guilford County, where you have sorry people that are not really equipped, the people that have not been held accountable for their actions, people not making the right decisions when they are appointing people for superintendents of schools, making poor decisions, allowing good superintendents that they've had in the past leave, and not holding the good people. You're just letting people walk away because of they're playing this political game all around. And it's saying to myself, like, how are you helping yourself? You look really bad when you have a lot of colleges just in Guilford County alone. The colleges, the universities, just in this county alone, not talking about across the state, but just in this county alone, there's a lot of colleges. And you have a lot of these college students that are walking away, that are leaving because there's not opportunity here for them. Because the state has yet, they haven't even, you have people that are walking away from jobs and struggling, and even with inflation, we have yet to even still hear the state talk about raising their own state minimum wage. But we steady see the inflation with the housing market, food and gas and everything like that. But they have yet to do anything for the people. Let's not get it twisted. Everything that was available for the people through the pandemic did not come from your states. They come from the federal government. It was a bailout. Just pretty much what it was. But it was all temporary. Okay? So everybody who had help with their housing, with housing assistance for rental, for their rent or their mortgage or their utilities, their food, anybody that got that extension and all of that, it's going to be wiped away. And the real problem is going to still lie there. Okay? So with these states and with a state like North Carolina, if you don't get your thing in order now, the problem was just pacified. The problem is there. And if nothing is in place to fix it and make sure that you're helping the people, you're in bad shape. You're looking at homes that are going for sale in the state of North Carolina and in certain cities where, like in Guilford County alone, where you could have got a home, average price of a home 2 years ago was $150,000. You could have got a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. You may not have been on an acre, but you would have had a nice a nice little piece of property for yourself. And you might have even could have got for $155, maybe $160. You could have got yourself a garage with that too. Now, add another $100,000 on that. That's what's going on. I looked at one home that had an assessment in early 2021 and 2022 for between $114 and $116. Today, that house is being sold for $220. Okay? This is what I'm saying. And I'm looking around and I'm like, hey man, the average person's the average, salary, the median when you do the math is like, $40,000-$50,000. Well, how you got homes that's running, you got homes for $250,000, $500,000, and I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, all the homes you got. You have shabby ass homes going for damn near $250,000 in Guilford County, and that's just Guilford County. We ain't even talking about other places like Durham. You know what I mean? Serious? Even in your smaller towns and stuff, you got. So it's like crazy. It is crazy here. And it is crazy, the greed of people, man. But that's my time, man. I just wanted to drop in and say something because I'm paying attention, and it's a shame how people, they keep playing games and they're playing themselves. They're looking real stupid out here, and you can't continue to walk around county commissioners, the Guilford County commissioners, Guilford County Schools. You can't keep playing these games when everybody knows that you have money from the federal government. You know what? It's like now you got the money, and you guys don't even know what to do with it. You got so much money you sitting on, you don't even know what to do with it. But I know one thing you ain't going to do with it. You ain't going to steal it because the Fed's going to be on you. That's one thing you ain't going to do. You ain't going to shift it around for too much because they on you. And you got to spend it. The clock been ticking. When y'all gonna get to spending? The government gave you, everyone and around the country that has money towards education system has X amount of time. I think you have up until maybe 2025 to spend that money. If not, you got to send it back. They're going to want it all back. And they probably want it back with interest. So all I'm saying is get to spending, Guilford County, on the school system. If anything, get to spending. Y'all got the money.